and thank you for joining us here today as we celebrate the life of Elmer Vernon Walsh. My name is Kim Askin, and I am honored to join Elmer's family as we remember and celebrate him today. As a tribute to Elmer and the life he lived, we invite everyone to keep their cowboy hats on throughout the service. Please take a moment at this time to turn your cell phones off or switch to silence as we begin the service. Elmer had the spirit of a true cowboy, steady, humble, and always ready with a warm smile. He was a kind man who could strike up a conversation with anyone, whether he'd known them for years or met them just a minute ago. Elmer loved being around people. He thrived in good company, moving easily from conversation to the next, and sharing stories, laughter, and the easygoing charm that he was known for. We'll remember Elmer for the way he connected with people, for his warmth, and for the cowboy spirit he brought to every room. His presence made his life brighter for all of us. As we move through the service today, we hold the memories, laughter, and tears we had and feel Elmer's lasting impact on every moment. Though our hearts are heavy with grief, let us find comfort in the memories that we share and the lessons we've learned from Elmer. In his honor, let us live our lives with the same kindness, courage, and generosity he showed every day. At this time, I'd like to invite Mackenzie Walsh to come forward. She'll be sharing the cowboy prayer, a beautiful reflection of Elmer's spirit and the cowboy heart he carried throughout his life.
Heavenly Father, we pause mindful of the many blessings you have bestowed upon us. We ask that you be with us today, and we pray that you guide us in the arena of life. We don't ask for special favors. We don't ask to never draw around a shoe-fighting horse or to never break a barrier, nor do we ask for all-day light runs or not to draw a calf that won't lay. Help us, Lord, to live our lives in such a manner that when we do make that last inevitable ride to that country up there, where the grass grows lush green and stirrup high, and the water runs cool, clear, and deep, that you as our best judge will tell us that our entry fees are paid. Rest in peace, Uncle Elmer. You will always be in our hearts.
Thank you, Mackenzie, for sharing that beautiful prayer. You've honored Elmer in true cowboy style. A beautiful reflection of Elmer's spirit and the cowboy heart he carried throughout his life. I'd like to take a moment to reflect the lasting memories we hold for Elmer. May its words bring a moment of peace and reflection. Elmer, our cowboy. Elmer rode through life with a steady stride, a cowboy heart full of quiet pride. He loved good company, laughter, and cheer, and made everything gathering feel welcome here. Stories and smiles were his daily ride, with friends and family right by his side. No matter the trail, no matter the mile, he traveled through life in cowboy style. The prairie wind, the open sky, now carries him where eagles fly. Though we'll miss him, his spirit stays bright, a cowboy who filled our days with light. So raise your hearts and tip your hat to a cowboy true, this and that. A life well lived, a journey grand, forever riding that endless land. At this time, I'd like to invite Michelle Walsh to come forward and share a few moments as a tribute to Elmer's life and legacy.
Today we gather to honor and celebrate the life of Elmer Vernon Walsh, a kind, funny, and wise man whose 97 years left an enduring mark on everyone who knew him. Elmer was born March 7, 1928 in Lucky Lake to William and Pearl Walsh, and he was their oldest son. He belonged to a generation that lived through some of the greatest challenges in history. He lived through the tail end of the Great Depression and the upheaval of World War II, events that shaped both the world and the character of those who grew up during that time. From 1928 to 2025, he saw nearly a century of challenges, transformation, and progress. Through it all, he carried himself with resilience, steadiness, and a quiet strength that never wavered. Elmer started school at Cotto Plains, but over the years, as his family moved around the area, he also attended school with his three siblings, Iona, Earl, and Orville, at Buffalo Basin and Rob Roy. Growing up on the prairies, Elmer embraced farming early on. He left school after grade 7 to help his family by working for other farmers in the area and giving his wage back to his parents to help. The land became his life's work and one of his greatest teachers. It taught him patience, grit, and the importance of showing up each day with honesty and determination. He weathered storms, both literally and otherwise, with the same practical, steady resolve that defined him. Right after the war, he took a job in Alberta around Rimbey at a bush camp for 2 winters. The first winter, he was skidding logs with a horse, and the second winter, he was hauling logs to towns in the area. At age 25, he started farming full-time with his brothers. Elmer was a farmer through and through. The land and his cattle weren't just his livelihood, it was his rhythm, his peace, and his purpose. After his brother Orville got married, it was just him and Earl farming as bachelors. Then after Earl got married, Elmer met the love of his life, Betty Johnson. Together, they built not only a beautiful life, but also a beautiful home. The house they built in 1973, which still stands today, as a testament to their loyalty, partnership, and their hard work. Elmer farmed for many more years until he semi-retired. He and Betty enjoyed traveling around with their camper to visit family, watch rodeos, and attend fiddle festivals. In the winters, they enjoyed traveling around, which I must add was always in a Ford truck, to various rinks to watch and cheer on the local hockey teams. Elmer was also a social butterfly, the kind of man who could strike up a conversation with just literally anyone. Whether it was at a gathering, an event, or simply just out and about, people felt drawn to him. He had a warm spirit, a gentle humor that drew people in. He lived simply, humbly, and with a heart always open to others. He had that rare ability to leave everyone just a little bit happier than when he found them. One of the joys later in his life was team roping, where he especially loved taking the role of the header with his horse, Jay. Roping brought him friendship, excitement, and pride, and like everything he did, he gave it his whole heart. Living 97 years is a gift, and Uncle Elmer used every one of those years well. He lived with gratitude, with purpose, and with heart. He taught us the value of kindness, the importance of hard work, the beauty of humor, and the power of love that lasts a lifetime. As we honor him today, our family wishes to extend thanks to all of those who supported him with care, friendship, and devotion. To Dr. Cooper, his wife Linda, and his entire healthcare team, which also includes everyone at the Kyle Long-Term Care Home, we thank you for taking such good care of him. To his longtime neighbors, Brian and Vicki, thank you for always being there, for checking in on him, helping him when he needed it, and treating him like family. Your steady presence brought him comfort and connection. To Brenda, who was not only his dedicated home care helper, but you truly were a dear friend he cherished. Thank you for your kindness, patience, and compassion you showed him over the many years. Your care allowed him to stay in the house he loved for as long as he could, and our family will always be grateful. As we say goodbye today, we remember a man who lived through almost a century of history, war, hardship, progress, and change, yet remained true to the timeless values of kindness, honesty, hard work, humility, and courage. His legacy lives on in the family he loved, in the stories he leaves behind us, and in the steady, good-hearted example he set for us all. Rest in peace, Uncle Elmer. You lived a remarkable life, and you were one of a kind, and you will forever be cherished by us all. We love you.
Thank you, Michelle, for sharing those beautiful, heartfelt words about Elmer. Your memories brought him to life for all of us and remind us of the joy, kindness, and spirit he shared with everyone around him. We will now invite Lori and Michelle to come forward to share some memories. Lori Pennington.
Hello everyone, thank you for joining us. Michelle and Christopher, what can I say? Thank you so much for taking care of Grandpa. You were his life and the light of his eye for sure. Some of you will know me, some of you won't. I'm one of the granddaughters, of which there are many from the Johnson side. I guess we couldn't all be here today, but if we did, we'd probably fill up half the hall. As Michelle had said, Grandpa has, he was one of the last of his generation. And I think he would have been happy to say that he might have got the last word. Most of you that know knew Elmer, he did like to have the last word. And you know, sometimes we like to tease him a lot, but he grinned through it all. He enjoyed laughter. Most of what I was going to say, Michelle has covered so eloquently. So I'll just share some memories that I have of Grandpa Elmer. I guess one of the first things I remember is the rodeos. A lot of summers were spent with Grandma and Grandpa, and they'd take us to the rodeos. And it was so much fun. And of course, he taught us how to rope, maybe not from the horse, but, he liked, I guess another favorite memory of mine is sitting at the kitchen table. There's a big picture window, and the game that was played was he would tell us to look out the window. There was a rabbit or something interesting out there, and then of course he'd steal our desserts. That was the play for a long time, but you know what? We never got tired of it. Grandpa and Grandma were quite the couple. They definitely were tied together at the hip. As Michelle said, that they loved to travel, often going long distances to visit with family. Pulling the camper. He was proud of his new vehicles he kept in pristine shape, and Grandma always had a new vehicle too. He always took care of her. Well, he wasn't just a rodeoer. He was also a dancer, a cook, a baker, and a cleaner. He was a very independent man, and as most of you know, lived on his own for a very, very long time. I'm going to miss our long phone calls and our friendly competitions on who gets their potatoes in the ground first. Grandpa always, he cared about the whole family, and he took care of all of us. He took immaculate care of his things. Always made sure there was gas in the quad for for the grandkids to ride in the summertime. Always good food on the table. And he loved his animals. I remember there always being dogs and cats around. Of course, his horses were his pride and joy. I remember Jay also. I'm going to miss him. You know, through life's hardships, I don't think I recall him ever once saying a bad thing to me. It was always positive. And always, get up, fall down 7 times, get up 8. Positive man, routine, regimented, and those traits are something I've included in my life and have really helped me. And I can't believe he's gone. Farewell, Granddad. And we will see you, hopefully not too soon, but in the future.
I was asked to read an excerpt from some of our granddaughters. We're sorry we couldn't be there to celebrate our grandpa. We, Betty, Sandra, and Teresa, wanted to share some lovely thoughts and memories about the one-of-a-kind Grandpa Elmer. When we were reminiscing about Grandpa, we remember coming to the farm, riding around on the motorcycle and four-wheeler, having the chance to watch Grandpa going roping, being so proud of him just doing cowboy things. Grandpa and Grandma taught us about farm life in the summers when we would come and visit. Early mornings, hard work, simple moments, and the beauty of a lifestyle that didn't need anything too fancy. Big, hearty meals, always meat and potatoes, and dessert, and long visits at the kitchen table. We can still picture Grandpa's favorite rope horse, kittens in the barn, and the chicken coop where we city girls tried so hard to gather eggs while the chickens seemed to sense our fear. Grandpa, we were pretty sure, would just stand back with that little grin watching us try. These memories, along with countless others, are treasures we carry from years past. They have shaped us, taught us, and helped guide us as we grew and built families of our own. The values Grandpa and Grandma lived by have made us into strong and hardworking women. Grandpa, we miss you so much already. Thank you for the lessons, the laughs, the farm summers, and the love that will stay with us forever. We miss you, we love you, and we will remember you today and always. Thank you for the love you shared with us. We will carry this unconditional close to our hearts for the rest of our lives. All our hearts rest easier knowing that you are reunited with Grandma now. We are sending you both our love and big hugs today and always. Your loving granddaughters, Betty, Sandra, Teresa, and all our families.
Thank you, Lori and Michelle, for sharing your memories. Your words have brought us comfort and reminded us of the many ways Elmer touched our lives. At this time, I'd like to invite Brian Braun to come forward. As someone who knew Elmer well as a neighbor and friend, he will have some wonderful memories to share about his life and the joy he brought to those around him.
Thank you. I'd like to thank Chris and Michelle for the honor of asking me to speak today. Elmer was a closest neighbor, a longtime member of our Silver Jay Roping Club, and we got to know him very well over the years and had a lot of good fun with him. Elmer, he always kept an eye on the neighborhood. One time Vicki and I were sitting at the supper table when we saw our broodmares trotting down the road. We thought we could finish supper and then go after him, but it wasn't 3 minutes later Elmer called, "Your horses are out." Elmer always was friendly, but you knew you had to toe the line when tending your livestock or keeping your mutual fences repaired. Elmer liked telling stories of the old days, like going to a one-room school where on the first day of classes, the teacher would line the older boys up on the back wall and give them all the strap, just to set the tone for the year. Elmer worked out for a few years before getting his own ranch, and he liked to tell a story about working for Devon Clark. One year they seeded 1,400 acres with a 9-foot one-way, or he skidded logs in northern Alberta for a winter job. He told about staying up in the hills at the cabin with Bill Bullock, who was the last of the Texas cowboys living in the area. He would help chase cattle to the river for the Mason outfit. He would say, 35 miles for $1. Can you believe that? $1. He told about Charlie Skinner coming to visit with an 8N Ford tractor, then helping Walsh's fix the Model A so they all could go to Swift Current together to go shopping. In his 50s, Elmer decided to take up team roping with his good friend Stan Taylor. I remember Elmer getting his first good horse, Jay. And for a guy in his 50s, and I can start to relate to Elmer about roping when you're older, he turned a lot of cattle. He had a special loop, he would just lay it on there. And no one ever dared whistle Elmer out because it wasn't a throw, he just kind of laid it on there, and he could turn a lot of cattle. Elmer and Stan would go to many Saskatchewan rodeos. Sometimes Stan would be concerned that when Elmer rode in the heading box, he was more interested in checking out the ladies in the stand than looking at a steer. Elmer and Stan made it all the way to the Canadian Senior Finals rodeo. Elmer liked to tell the story about the last round. All we had to do was to catch to win it all. He says, I turned that steer, but we didn't get a time. And it was a pretty quiet ride home, he said. In their senior years, Elmer and Betty did some traveling. Fort St. John to see the boys, North Dakota to see some of Betty's relatives. Elmer didn't drive the fastest and told the story about a trucker that had been following him for 30 miles in the mountains. When Elmer pulled in for the gas, the tractor followed him right in and chewed me out good for not pulling over, he said. Elmer was a devoted husband. The arrangement was Elmer would buy the groceries with his pension check, and Betty would buy lottery tickets with hers. Elmer remained active in his 90s. We'd often see him out hunting gophers with his trusty quad and a .22. One day Vicki drove by and spotted Elmer standing in his pasture. On closer inspection, she saw the quad upside down. We helped him get it upright and he drove it home unscathed. One day I drove by his yard and saw him standing in the shop. I pulled in and said, Elmer, what are you up to now? He says, I'm putting winter tire chains on my 2290. I guess I should have left them on last spring because I never used the tractor all summer. In his last years at the farm, Elmer did a good job taking care of himself. But there came a time when he started to get some home care. I teased him if he had a new housekeeper. He quickly barked, it's not what you think. 3 days before Elmer's 96th birthday, I stopped to plow some snow. I never phoned him ahead because he'd always say, no, I don't need nothing. but I would just show up with my snowplow after a bad storm. He invited me in for dinner, and I was going to decline, but something told me I should stay. Elmer cooked me a steak dinner with boiled potatoes and beans. He shared some of his favorite stories. He never let my coffee cup run empty. He told me he was worried about the future, and 2 days later he went to Kyle for respite and never returned to the farm. I realized then how lucky I was to have that last meal with Elmer, and how lucky I was to have Elmer as my neighbor for 60 years. We'll miss you, Elmer.
One of the most powerful ways we honor a life is through stories and memories. Thank you, Brian, for sharing your stories. Each memory shared today brings us comfort and strength. Don't think of Elmer as gone away. His journey's just begun. Life holds so many facets. The earth is only one. Just think of him as resting from the sorrows and the tears in a place of warmth and comfort, where there are no days and no years. Think how he must be wishing that we could know today how nothing but our sadness can really pass away. And think of him as living in the hearts of those he touched. Just as a child is welcomed into our lives, there is also a time to say goodbye to someone when they leave. So now we say goodbye to Elmer. It may be difficult, there may be tears, but important that we do this, knowing that he leaves us with treasures beyond words. We are truly grateful for the privilege of having shared our life with you. But rest now at the end of your days. Rest in the hearts and minds of all those who love you. Elmer, we let you go now in peace, thankful for all you have been, treasuring your eternal love and promising to support each other in the coming days ahead. Next, we will share a slideshow that celebrates Elmer's life. These photos capture special moments, memories, and the joy he brought to everyone who knew him. Please take a moment to enjoy and remember these through the images. Thank you for sharing that glimpse into Elmer's life. These memories remind us of the joy that he brought and the love he shared, which will always stay with us. In closing, let us remember Elmer, a man who rode 97 years through strength, humor, and an open heart. His laughter, his stories, his love for people will leave a trail that will never fade. May we carry his spirit forward, honoring the life of a true gentleman and a true cowboy. May the memories be a source of comfort, inspiration, strength as we navigate the journey ahead. My wish for all of you is that you can move forward with a sense of comfort, that Elmer is okay, safe and free of all pain and worldly stress, and that he is at total peace with everything. His love for you is forever, and it doesn't end today. His love for you will never fade away. I want to thank Elmer's family for asking me to join them this afternoon as we remember and celebrate him. I hope that all of you can leave today with a peace in your heart, knowing that you have served Elmer with love and respect, and to remember, today we said goodbye, but every day in small, quiet ways, Elmer will still walk beside us. This concludes our service today. On behalf of the family, thank you for your presence, your support, and your love during this time. Following the service, the room will need to be set up for refreshments, and we would greatly appreciate a few extra hands and help with this. We warmly invite everyone to stay, enjoy the refreshments, and share stories and memories together. After, the family will be proceeding to the Lance Valley Cemetery for a short graveside service, and all are welcome to join if they wish. Let us remember Elmer's laughter, his stories, and the warmth he brought to everybody around him. Though he is ridden on his final resting place, his spirit will continue to ride with us in our memories, our hearts, and the love he shared. Farewell, Elmer. Your journey may be complete, but your spirit and the love you gave will remain with us always.